Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the game. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try to catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom, boom, boom. Major look.
Yeah, once again, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to World Combat Sports. Salute to all the supporters who tune in and rock with WCS, man. It's much appreciated. Thanks for everyone tuning in always. If you're in the building, definitely hit the thumbs up button, share the content, and also leave your input on the topic at hand. You know what I'm saying? I always like to interact with the live chat, Italian, those of you that's hardcore boxing fans, man. Leave your comments. You know what I'm saying? Also, I want to give a salute to the ones that's out here working, making a living in these tough times, man. Continue to do what you do. Those of you that went to church this morning to pray for loved ones and pray for fam, pray for anybody that's concerned with you, you know what I'm saying, looking out for them. Salute to you too. Yeah, this is a boxing update. For those of you that may not have gave a damn, this is a boxing update when it comes down to what happened yesterday. Anthony Joshua indeed stepped in the ring and fought his mandatory. All right. Alexander Usyk is a former cruiserweight unified champion. All right, undisputed. Joshua is and was 2 times a unified heavyweight champion. Wasn't undisputed, but he was a unified heavyweight champion. All right. The last belt that he picked up was against Joseph Parker. We all remember that, right? So he picked up the belt, the WBO, against Joseph Parker sometime back in 2018. And since then, he hasn't came close to unifying for undisputed. And why I mention that is, if he would have defeated Alexander Usyk, potentially, possibly, he could have absolutely fought for the undisputed titles. It could have potentially happened. We don't know because there's so much puppetizing that goes on across the pond when it comes to boxing. He could have very well been in line to face the winner of Wilder Fury, which goes down on the 9th. So that's what makes this fight very, very interesting when it came down to the debacle that went down with, Deontay Wilder winning the arbitration, Eddie Hearns and them knowing he was in arbitration, but yet they was out here pretending like they was about to step in there with Fury. Now, for those smart, intelligent boxing heads, you totally understand that Joshua and Eddie Hearns was hoping and praying that the fairy tale can play out the way they wanted it to. They was hoping they can step in Saudi Arabia or whatever and fight Joshua for 80 to 100 million pesos and, really get the bag. I mean, why not? That would have been good money for Joshua to retire. Because it ain't no way in hell I would have seen him stepping in that beating Fury. Real talk. I wouldn't have seen him stepping in that beating Fury. But the title to this live is Build a Boxer Gone Wrong, man. This is the perfect title for Anthony Joshua. The Build a Boxer failed. They've been building Anthony Joshua up forever, protecting him, putting him around the right people, restricting, oppressing, making sure he's disciplined enough to understand the orders for which he's been given. Do not step outside these boundaries. Let us build you up to a superstar. Yeah? Yeah? Let us build you up to a superstar. Yeah? You follow all the instructions. Yeah? We'll get you where you need to be and make a lot of money. Yeah? We're just going to take this 35%, 40%. Yeah? So, if you're looking at the picture, that's Anthony Joshua right now. Inside, that's Anthony Joshua right now. I just want to let that settle in right now. If you're looking at my thumbnail, that is Anthony Joshua inside right now. The exterior of his physical anatomy has grown with time. Of course, he's gotten older, right? So he looks different. But inside is that little old Anthony Joshua that has his thumb, I'm being petty, has his thumb on top of his dang index finger, as if he knows absolutely nothing about the sport of boxing. Even in posing, he posed with his thumb on top of his index finger. He could have been an absolute tyro right now, novice to the sport. Absolutely. But that little kid right there is how Anthony Joshua fought Alexander Usyk yesterday. It's almost like he was unsure of the stage that he was on. It's almost like he was unsure of the magnitude for which he was forced to perform. Like it was mandatory that he get this win. He didn't fight with a sense of urgency. He didn't know what to do. His strategy, I don't even know if they had one. But I have to be honest, if y'all look back at all my lives, I pretty much has always said that Anthony Joshua was overrated. I always said that. I always said that Anthony Joshua was overrated. Anthony Joshua was robotic, and people still trying to act like Anthony Joshua isn't robotic. He's robotic as a boxer. I have to go back to the replays when, all the people was on Anthony Joshua's bandwagon with 3 wheels, and not to mention those motherfuckers was square. I was telling them, hey, there's nothing special about this dude. He's in the right area and around the right people for them to guide him to wherever he's trying to be. But I never seen Anthony Joshua become undisputed. The way he looked in there against Alexander Usyk, there was spurts that it seemed like the hands on the clock was dialing in the right time. And it was registering. Anthony Joshua's mental clock was calibrating what he was supposed to be doing. He started to process it. You know what I'm saying? You have 3 parts of the brain, man. It seems like that mid part of the brain was cataloging the way it's supposed to. And then the recall memory was coming out. Anthony Joshua landing some nice body shots, some hooks. I say, okay, here we go. But then we do know that Anthony Joshua has always been a recipient of cardio issues. That can be from many things. That can be from pads. That can be from a lack of road work. That can be from a lot of things. But aesthetically, they have built Anthony Joshua up to this United Kingdom Adonis where he can walk around for quite some time now And they treat him like he's on the royalty status. They give him the red carpet treatment. Long as you be a good little boy and be nice. All right? Long as you be a good little boy, Joshua, be nice. You'll get every fan over here. You'll be rich. You'll be richer than rich. Alexander Usyk had different plans, of course. And he really went in there and gave Joshua a beating. And those of you that follow me, you know where the hell this is going. You know where this is going. Once again, coming off, let's just say, back in 2019 when he lost 7th-round TKO stoppage to Andy Ruiz. The Anthony Joshua fans were so quiet. All them people that was up here talking about he's the best. And it's possible for him to retire undefeated. You don't see nobody beating him. Andy Ruiz came in here and shut him down, right? That was back in 2019. And then decided to become the Michelin Man and return back for a rematch and lost the titles, which we all know he took the check. Andy Ruiz got in his bag and took the check. He cashed out. That was the orders from the beginning. What's going on, Battle Ready Fitness and Defense on deck? Salute to you. That was from the beginning, man. Andy Ruiz defeat Joshua, and Joshua get the belts back. Now he becomes a 2-time unified heavyweight champion. He goes on to defeat Kubrat Pulev, which is, wasn't anybody that was so special that, some people tuned in and shit, but we didn't think anything special was going to come from Pulev. That was back in 2020. Joshua fought one time in 2020. He fought December of 2020. All right? It's September now. So he turns around. They put Alexander Usyk on the back burner because they was hoping and wishing and praying that Deontay Wilder's arbitration did not concede in his favor. Well, it did. And once it did, all those fake media agitprop that was put out here by Eddie Hearns and them basically went down the drain. They was telling people that Joshua and Fury have agreed, on a fight. And then they say they signed the contract. All along, they was just playing with the emotions of their fight fans. So the news broke. Now he has to fight Alexander Usyk. And Usyk went in there and handled his business. I don't have anything to say about Usyk. I really don't have no play in the game when it comes to supporting Usyk. He's not one of my favorite heavyweights. I mean, he didn't look too impressive. And listen to what I'm about to tell you. He didn't look too impressive against Witherspoon, right? And he definitely didn't look impressive against Derek Chisora, because we've seen how Derek Chisora fight, right? But when it came to Joshua, just hear me out when I tell you. I don't provide a hot air balloon of praises on what Alexander Usyk was able to do to Joshua, because it was all out there from the beginning. The potential for him to step into Joshua's space, who was a unified champion at the time, and perform the way he did is nothing super impressive to me. It's only impressive to those who sitting up here want another fighter to support outside of Joshua. For a long time, people knew Joshua was soft. For a long time, people knew that Joshua was predictable and robotic as a heavyweight champion. But the only one they wanted to focus on was Deontay Wilder. Everybody knew Anthony Joshua had flaws and holes in his game, but everybody wanted to face and talk about Deontay Wilder. Why? Because he was easy. They say he couldn't box. Well, what's wrong with Joshua, though? Joshua was supposed to be this boxer. He had all the fundamentals. I just hear all the people that you know, I used to talk about when it came to the heavyweight division, and they was vigorously defending Anthony Joshua. Come on, he's the best well-rounded heavyweight in the sport of boxing. He's gonna go far. Can't nobody beat him. And then the facade started to peel itself. The shell was cracked and fragmented, and Joshua started to get exposed slowly but surely. You know what I'm saying? The last minute replacement of Andy Ruiz. Then he's up here stepping in there with somebody like Alexander Usyk. He afraid to come back to the U.S. for a second time, the place where he lost. And we was waiting. We was waiting to see if he was going to come back over here to the U.S. He wasn't even talking about that. He wanted to stay back over there because Joshua was that little kid that you see in my thumbnail. He was soft. He didn't want to come back over here and step up to the challenge of not having those fans behind him, not having the referee, not having the home field advantage. Alexander Usyk, gave Joshua the complete business last night, as he was supposed to do. I'm not putting this on my top tier fights of heavyweight upsets. It wasn't an upset, man. He's already been beat before. It wasn't an upset because Anthony Joshua never truly won his gold medal round from the London Olympics anyway. They robbed the man. They gave it to Joshua. So I've been telling people this forever and a day that Joshua didn't win his gold medal round. They gave it to him because they wanted to build a boxer. And they did. They successfully built Anthony Joshua up with the protection. That's why they went looking for Vladimir Klitschko. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you had Charles Martin come in there and take the biggest check of his life and take a dive. That's why you saw those fighters, as he was on his way up the chain, fall off by the wayside when they faced Joshua, because that was a plan anyway. They received the orders. Now you tell me, Joseph Parker, who's a former WBO champion, did he fight like he was defending his title, or he was just fighting to move around and survive? Because he didn't fight like with a sense of desperation. I didn't get that from Joseph Parker. But also you have to include the referee, who was in the middle of these fighters forever and a day, and never really, gave them opportunity to dance. What I would say yesterday, the referee actually gave, let me back up. The only time that the referee actually gave Joshua a time to dance was when he lost. This is what I mean by dancing. Joshua was there to engage with Andy Ruiz to defend his titles, right? These was names that, credible names that was in there with Joshua. But the moment, to me, each time Joshua lost his titles, which has been twice, it seems like that was the time that he was allowed to be actively engaged with his opponent, and he did not look good doing it. Now it's going to take a little bit of time for me to figure out if I'm right or not. What's going on, L-Dub Boxing on deck? Salute. It's going to take a little bit of time for me to see, just as I said about Andy Ruiz. I said Andy Ruiz was going to come back and lose his title because that's the way the UK shit, how they was going to run it. I'm not sure about this, but I'm going to go on record as saying that I don't want to compare this to Muhammad Ali when he won, when he became 3-time heavyweight champion. I don't want to compare this to that. But if Alexander Usyk comes back and loses to Anthony Joshua, then I would have been absolutely correct. Because this is a part of boxing where people focus more on the fighter and not the politics. People sit up here and shut me down like they did Andy Ruiz and say, "Oh man, that's not gonna happen, man. Andy Ruiz, the first Mexican heavyweight champion, he's gonna keep the belts and all." I said, "Listen, they have a plan for Joshua to build up his credentials, and the way they're gonna do it, they're gonna put him in there with the right opponent that's willing to take the orders, execute the orders, so he continue to move on in sport." So with them, they didn't mind losing the belts because they knew they was going to get them back. So Joshua, going in this rematch, if he takes it, I'm pretty sure he is. If Alexander Usyk loses or there's a controversial decision, then you can come back over here and say, "Okay, I get it." Because I don't want you to say I'm right and all that, because I was right about Andy Ruiz. I said Andy Ruiz is going to come back and lose his titles. He was going to lose his title. Either he was going to get robbed, or he was just going to go in there and look half of what he was when he stepped in there the first time. So Alexander Usyk, will you be the next one on deck? Will you be the one to step in there and face Anthony Joshua, a man that they're trying to make 3-time heavyweight champion, unified heavyweight champion at that? 3-time unified heavyweight champion. Is Usyk, is he the next? Because you heard me mention Muhammad Ali, right? Check out Muhammad Ali's fight against Leon Spinks when he became 3-time heavyweight champion. Look at where he was in his career, and look at what he was able to do to regain that title. Spinks was like 7-0 at the time he fought Muhammad Ali. You trying to tell me he wasn't the same Ali that stepped in there when Spinks beat him for him to come back and win his title? Right? So therefore, I'm confident in saying what I'm saying about Anthony Joshua. They want him to go down in history as being this glorified heavyweight champion, 3-time unified champion, future Hall of Famer, without fighting the best. And the only way you're able to do that is you have majority of the stockhold of the titles, right? There's one WBC title that's lingering out there. But for Joshua and his people, they can pretty much continue to build his history and cement his legacy by having fights primarily across the pond. That allows them a lot of advantages, having fights across the pond. Now you're saying, well, Joshua got 2 losses. Yeah, look at the losses, though. Look at the losses on Joshua's record. The first one we already know about. Now we have to see how the second one play out. If Joshua comes in here and looks all good and he goes in there and do the same pace-setting performance like he did with Andy Ruiz in the rematch, he goes in there and get his title back, his titles rather, and become 3-time unified champion. This will still play in the hands of the final piece of the puzzle in which they're trying to do for Joshua. Okay? And that final piece of the puzzle is for him to fight for the undisputed titles. They're going to make money with him going back in there and fighting Usyk. And then if they're able to, whatever, how you put it, cleverly craft up a plan for Usyk to lose those undisputed titles, because Usyk could be champion again regardless he lose the titles again or not. He'll be champion again somewhere. He's still young in the game enough to the point where he'll be champion again, right? So Josh will become 3-time unified heavyweight champion. And then they step into the final piece of the puzzle for undisputed. And we know undisputed trumps a lot when it comes to whoever's the mandatories for whatever. So October 9th, we have Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. deep down inside, the final piece of the puzzle is fighting for the WBC belt. But they want the right person to fight for the undisputed titles. They want the right two people to fight for the undisputed titles. If they can work out a plan, see, this is all well and good the way these fights are planned right now. Joshua went first. Deontay Wilder and Fury is October 9th next. Then Alexander Usyk and Joshua fights in 2022, right? Knowing already who is the WBC heavyweight champion October 9th. So they're going to wait. They have the opportunity to wait and see how this fight plays out between Wilder and Fury. If Fury, I'm just telling you, he's talking all this, he'll fight Fury and Wilder, but he really wants to fight Fury, okay? Anthony Joshua really wants to fight Fury. So in their scheme of things, they're hoping Fury comes out of here with a retention of his belt, and still the WBC heavyweight champion. Then they can set in motion for them to step back in there with a rematch with Alexander Usyk. And I'm pretty sure, I'm just guessing, assuming on what I believe is going to happen, just like Andy Ruiz. Joshua and Fury will still make money with these people. They'll still look at it like, okay, well, we're going to still make some money off, Fury and Joshua, regardless if Joshua lost his belts. If Joshua was able to get his belts back a third time, he's going to go into that fight with the same momentum he had if he wouldn't have lost to Alexander Usyk. I'm telling you, people are going to tune into that. But this is where you might find a little bit of hesitation and delay when it comes to if Deontay Wilder wins that title. Now the plan changes. Now it's going to be much more tougher for Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearns to pull off that Saudi Arabia bid for undisputed title. Team Wilder is going to make a lot more restrictions and demands on Anthony Joshua if indeed he's able to be the one to go back in there and defeat Alexander Usyk and become 3-time heavyweight champion. It's going to make numbers, Wilder and Joshua, but not the numbers that Eddie Hearns and them are trying to create. They're trying to take this fight into Never Ever Land, where the site fee is astronomical. And they want it to be all UK so they can bring all the dang birthday dressings and pyrotechnics and everything else for Fury Joshua undisputed heavyweight. They want all the prestige to be over in the UK, y'all. They don't want the Tuscaloosa Bronze Bomber to go in there and do what they know he's going to do. Finally getting in there with Joshua and knocking him out. And then the undisputed titles are in the backyard on home base of the U.S. They don't want that. It takes the prestige and glory away from their boxing history if Wilder goes in here, beats Fury, and gets to fight the winner of Alexander Usyk and Joshua. And I seriously doubt, to be honest with you, Wilder win this title. What I'm telling you all right now, with Joshua going in there and beating Alexander Usyk, it kind of messes up everything. I'll be surprised if they go along with the plan and Joshua comes out the winner against Usyk in the rematch. I think Usyk will fight Deontay, but I'm not sure. Because even in Usyk's mind, he understands that Deontay Wilder is a better boxer than Anthony Joshua. Usyk understands that Deontay Wilder presents much more of a dangerous threat than Anthony Joshua. He knows that. He knows he's going to get a different type of viciousness when it comes to facing Deontay Wilder. But back to the scheme of the maneuver, I'm truly thinking deep down inside that they want Anthony Joshua to be 3-time heavyweight champion so it can put the final pieces to him fighting for the undisputed. They're in the right place. They're in a perfect place to plan this out because they already fought last night. We're getting the next piece of the puzzle to see who wins this October 9th fight. And then they're going to have a rematch in 2022. And we all know if it's anywhere close to the UK, they can manipulate anything. That's Eddie Hearn's cash cow. They can manipulate anything for this to play out the way I'm talking about. Joshua becoming 3-time heavyweight champion, then fight for undisputed. Like I said, they would love for that shit to be Tyson Fury. But it's going to be much more of inclement weather when it comes down to the planning process if Deontay Wilder is the WBC champion. Because I'm going to tell you, either way, Wilder would like to fight Anthony Joshua or Usyk. It doesn't matter. But what I can tell you is, honestly, I was listening to other people's lives about this fight with Anthony Joshua and Usyk. I wasn't motivated to get the fight. I pretty much didn't care who won. I'm not going to front. You didn't hear me out here. I mean, I didn't care who won because I knew Joshua was who he was. He was overrated since back then when he was in the Olympics fighting the gold medal round. He was overrated. And a lot of people has always said, like, well, if he was overrated, then what was Deontay Wilder? Well, we're looking at Anthony Joshua, the thumbnail. We're looking at a guy who was built. They build a boxer by giving him the gold medal round in the London Olympics. Deontay Wilder had to scrap and fight for everything he earned. You know what I'm saying? So once he got in his career, they had two different avenues of how they built up their credentials as a boxer. But see, the different aspect is Deontay Wilder fighting Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury, in my opinion, were the two top heavyweights that was in the game. Now people are going to jump on the Alexander Usyk bandwagon just like they did for Sil Lomachenko. They're going to act like Anthony Joshua was undefeated when he was defeated, when he took an L last night. But they shouldn't. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to just send this message out there. Don't get over enthusiastic about what you're looking at, because that was to be expected. That was to be expected. Just like what Javon Woodard said. Javon Woodard said, shout out to Pop. Javon Woodard said, I'm not happy about something I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go in there and knock his ass out. I'm not happy about something I was supposed to do. For Alexander Usyk, I'm pretty sure he's happy. But that was expected, and that was something he was supposed to do. So, of course, it's a difference. But what I'm saying is, for Joshua, I'm not surprised, dog. I'm not surprised he went in there and took the L again. I'm not surprised. And then, take all the pictures and go up there. Did you hear what he was saying in the press conference, y'all? Did you hear what Anthony Joshua was saying in the press conference? That guy, somebody need to goddamn give him a hug, man, for real. Y'all hold on for a minute. Yeah, I'm back. So I look at it like this, right? Bookmark Alive, whether you pay attention to it or not. I'm just saying bookmark Alive, and so we can revisit this and just look at how um everything is playing out right now. Because coming off 2020 with the big fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and then pretty much being stagnant throughout the most of that year, when it came to heavyweights, right? Then coming to 21 to have everything go down the way it did with the arbitration. Now we have the outcome. Joshua's no longer. Usyk is the unified champion. Now we have, the big fight, Wilder and Fury, that's taking place really soon. So these two fights right here are really going to set up the next fight between, really have set up the first fight. I mean, the next fight between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua. Because I believe deep down in my heart that this is somewhat similar to what I call for Andy Ruiz. I do believe there's a high possibility Joshua will get his titles back. And look at this, people. I hear people saying this, right? And shout out to Knockout Boxing who predicted it correctly. I just didn't fuck with it because I don't fuck with Joshua. I really didn't care for the fight. But check this out, though. What I did predict with Andy Ruiz is the fact that, he will return and come off those titles. There's a potential for Joshua to lose and Andy Ruiz, get off those titles in the rematch. And that's exactly what happened. And Andy Ruiz looked very dominant in the first fight. What did we see last night? Alexander Usyk looked very dominant. He had shining moments in that fight where you're saying to yourself, like, Joshua can't beat him. Joshua can't beat him. It don't matter if he rematch him or not. Well, guess what? That's the same shit we said with Andy Ruiz. We said, Andy Ruiz, he going to go back in there. He going to keep them titles. Joshua can't fuck. And Andy Ruiz came in here overweight. So I don't know how it's going to play out with Alexander Usyk stepping in there for a rematch against Joshua. I don't know. But in boxing, they have transparent corruption. It happens all the time. It's transparent to us because we don't know what the table talks are behind closed doors. But it happens. People don't want to say Ruiz through the fight, but he did. He came in there overweight, and he want to talk about he let the shit get wrapped up. He was the first Mexican heavyweight. Not John Ruiz. I don't know why people keep saying that shit. And the first Mexican heavyweight, you don't want to go down in history as defending your titles? We'll see how Alexander Usyk comes back in here, man. E-Man on deck. What's good there, E-Man? How you feeling? Salute. Come back. Sports, salute, and keep up the great work. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thanks. But I just wanted to kind of give y'all that scenario on how this may play out. Because now they get to watch Fury and Wilder in their trilogy. And that shit is right in front of them through the windshield and the destination they're trying to reach. What they're hoping is Fury wins because Fury is going to be more inclined to play the ball game with Eddie Hearns and them. Deontay Wilder isn't. Deontay Wilder wins that title. He isn't going to be putting up with all that bullshit and, capitulating to whatever demands they have to try to set the fight up so, Joshua can win them damn undisputed titles. Because ultimately, that's what they truly want. They want Joshua to become undisputed. And right now, I know a lot of people thinking like, that's no way. He looked terrible. It is a way. It is a way, man. It is a way. Just like they try to sit up here and make Joshua Fury, knowing that there was an active arbitration on deck, they would try to come up with a plan, man. Just like I said that Team Wilder needed to be damn near perfect heading into that rematch because they was going to try anything and everything to get that WBC strap. Man, I don't know what live it was, but I said it. I said it several times, matter of fact. Now we have two boxing situations that's a huge real estate in boxing history. These fights, the trilogy coming up, and also this next fight in the rematch with Usyk and Joshua. Two huge pieces of real estate that they're going to try to build upon when it comes to the heavyweight division. Yes, I'm telling you, this is huge. This is significant. Because you think about the last undisputed heavyweight champion. Come on, man. Come on. Lennox Lewis was dual citizenship, so don't come up here talking about he was UK. Hey, they wanted to be an all UK affair when it comes down to this undisputed title contention. They wanted to be all UK. If it's that Tuscaloosa, Alabama bronze bomb squad, then that's when you might see something else go down differently between Usyk and Joshua. But still, Joshua is I'm hearing him out here, and I'm reading articles in which Joshua's saying he'll fight Wilder or Fury with no belts. They don't really want you with no belts. They wanted you for your name with the championships that you was attached to. Now you look terrible once again. I don't want to repeat Canelo Alvarez because he's on my damn head. But man, you look bad in there. They don't want to fight you without the titles because you look bad. YouTube live streamers, hold true to your square and criticize Joshua just as you did Deontay Wilder. It's only fair. Real talk. It's only fair that y'all do the same. Keep the same energy that you did when there was Wilder losing to Fury. Joshua may not have been stocked, but he looked terrible. This is the one y'all said that had more boxing skills. He's the better boxer. He's more disciplined. He's going to go far. This is your second time to critique him as he should. And you know damn well Alexander Usyk made him look bad. He had like he didn't want to be there, bro. But remember to look at the thumbnail, man. I'm not going to take too much time on Anthony Joshua, man. I think this year is the most that I've really spoken on him since 2018. Seriously. He's been overrated. He's been soft. I always said that he was robotic. And people still want to get up here and give this man praise, praise, praise. Now he lost bad again. And people want to just make up excuses for this man. They're treating him just like the kid you see in the picture. Real talk. They treat him just like that. They treat Joshua just like he's this kid in the picture, man. He's adorable. Look at him. He's adorable. Don't browbeat Anthony Joshua. He's a good guy. Do you ever hear him out here talking like Wilder, trash talking all the time? And then when Anthony Joshua does trash talk, what they say? That's just a part of the sport. But guess what? If the scenario play out once again, and in boxing, you have creators, you have content creators behind the scene. They can create scenarios so that it looks believable to the fight fans when it comes to corruption. If anything and everything that you can possibly think of, if just one scenario play out in the ring with Usyk and Joshua to the point where he's able to regain his titles, hopefully that changed your perspective on boxing for good. Because just because I don't have this amount of subscribers doesn't mean when I speak on certain things, I'm just sitting up here being a content creator, a bullshit creator. You know what I'm saying? Did I ever tell y'all way back when I just started talking boxing? And it was only one other person that really knew this, and you know, he finally brought it out. But back in the only reason I look at the numbers of subscribers is because I don't talk just boxing, right? It's okay. I'll just take the ones who's on this live chat, and we going with it. We kicking it. We good. We solid. But check this out. I used to do Facebook Lives and talk about boxing back in the day to the point where the UK, I still had an email. I have the receipts now. Where the UK was attempting, this is way back in 2018, y'all. The UK was trying to get me to speak on their fighter. They wanted me to speak on Anthony Joshua. I was heavy on Deontay Wilder back then also, but they wanted me to write articles because at that time I was writing a lot more than I was now. They wanted me to start changing up and speaking on Anthony Joshua. And, you know, they was willing to pay. You know what I'm saying? It was like 3 people. And one of them, if I give a name, you will find that individual on Facebook. He's over in the UK. He knows damn well what I'm telling you is truth. They wanted me to start writing articles on Joshua, talking more about Joshua, all that. And I refused to do it. I say, no, that ain't happening. That is not happening. It's just not going down like that. But yet, here I go, turn around and check out two other black streamers on Facebook that start talking about the UK boxing under that guy's banner. And they did it so easily too. This was guys who was, look, check this out. They did it so easy because they was the ones that was against Deontay Wilder anyway. Now every now and then I peek over to see, and that shit didn't last long. But they were so quick to jump over on the UK bandwagon because the UK people that were searching out for these voices, these news media, they wanted to build up Joshua's name over here in the U.S. footprint. So they wanted to take over Facebook. The way they can take over Facebook is individuals that may not have had a huge following. And that's why they wanted to get them at the ground floor so they can start building them up. And the way they was going to do it is that they was going to share the content of a U.S. media talking and bigging up Joshua and some other UK boxers. They was going to share it over across the pond in the UK too. So it's somewhat like they was going to use the voices of the U.S. media, sort of like propaganda. You have people that's in the U.S. that don't even like Wilder. You know what I'm saying? But they will be more off supporting Anthony Joshua. So let's get a hold of these individuals so they can start spreading Anthony Joshua's name over here in the U.S. footprint on social media. And they tried hard. They tried that shit hard. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even into the game heavy like that. I was just on Facebook doing, boxing posts and lives. I didn't even know, I thought they was just like, they wanted participation over there. But no, they was trying to find individuals, especially me that I was talking about Wilder. They wanted me to switch over and start talking about the fighters in the UK, especially numero uno Anthony Joshua. And they wanted me to put out a couple of articles every week about UK boxing, and they was going to post them over there in the UK. This is how goofy they thought I was. They said, we're going to post your article over here in the UK, and we're going to provide more exposure for you. We're going to keep you as an author and all that. So I was like, so you telling me you're going to post my articles, any articles that I write? He said, no, most the ones that's UK orientated with our boxers over here. I said, so you don't even want to post any articles of US boxers over there. You just want to UK. You want me to write about UK. So if I write about UK boxers, I'm never going to have time to write about US boxers. That's what you want me to do. And that's pretty much what they wanted. They wanted me to write about UK boxers, and they was going to post the articles to a point where they was going to try to persuade me to big up the UK boxing scene, criticize the US boxing scene. And yeah, that's about the extent of it, people. No cap. That shit's real life. And how big of a fool that would have been. Drew Titan on deck. What's going on, Drew, man? I don't even have to tell y'all, man. Y'all know it. Go fuck with my boy Drew Titan over there, man. Be putting out the damn serious boxing content every morning. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, and Drew, you always welcome to drop your link whenever, man. You know what it is. I'm Great Soldier. You're right. They are trying to clear an easy path for Joshua to become unified. This is the end of the hype job. I mean, it's near the end, but it's not absolutely there yet because they still can make money off Joshua. They still can make money off of him. Seriously. As much as I don't want to see it, Anthony Joshua fighting Fury and Wilder, people still pay to see it, but it doesn't have as much heat as it would have had if he had his belts. So now, from what I'm believing, I think this is going to be episode number 2, with Joshua getting his belts back from Alexander Usyk in the most crazy, outlandish way possible. You know what I'm saying? They're going to create another scenario that is believable to the public for him to get his titles back. And then, like I said, for Andy Ruiz, he's going to go right back in there with the same momentum he had if he would have beat Usyk. No one's going to care about his 2 losses, and he's going to fight for the undisputed. Salute to Drew. Absolutely, man. Salute to Drew Titan, man. Brown on Boxing. What's good? Salute WCS on deck. What's good? Salute WCS. Time reveals all truth. Absolutely, my brother. Time reveals all truth. You ain't never lied. And absolutely, Love and appreciation for the donation. For real. Love and appreciation for the donation. Appreciate you, my brother. Battle Ready Fitness and Defense says salute Drew. He would never beat Usyk. So Drew believes he'll never beat Usyk. I believe, being that understandingly that Joshua's always been this guy who lost last night. I've always portrayed him as being this fighter who lost last night. I get it. But it's not all about Joshua beating Usyk in a straight up fair boxing match. I believe with the politics that we know about, across the pond and how Eddie Hearns do things, I just believe we might be looking at episode number 2 with them setting Anthony Joshua up to become a 3-time heavyweight champion. There's a lot of money in Anthony Joshua. That's why he's been able to only venture over here to the U.S. once. And when he came over here, he lost. But they got the titles back easy. It wasn't even difficult. Easy, they got the titles back. I just believe wholeheartedly that they're going to try to cement Anthony Joshua's career by allowing him to get back the titles from Usyk by all means necessary, and then fighting for the undisputed title. And they're hoping, wishing, and praying that the WBC can come up with another dramatic, action-packed series for Fury to walk up out of there with the WBC title. They're trying to plan this shit. I said the same thing when Wilder went in there for the rematch. It's gonna have to be a perfect night for him. Everything's gonna have to be perfect, and the sabotage was in. The sabotage was in. So we have to see how this plays out. Remember what I said. I'm not saying you wrong, Drew. I'm not saying the other people are wrong who believes that Joshua, but guess what? They were saying the same thing about Andy Ruiz, y'all. People were saying that Joshua would never beat Andy Ruiz. He's just too better of a boxer. They'll go back to the Joseph Parker fight. They say he really didn't beat. And when Joseph Parker fought Andy Ruiz, Joseph Parker really didn't beat Andy Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? So he really should be undefeated. That's what they were saying. And what happened? He came in there and looked like a turtle with 3 legs that had been, eating cotton candy for a whole month. Slow as molasses, man. D Hodges OG on deck. What's good, man? What up, World Combat Sports and Chat? Salute. Bruce goes on deck. What's good, Bruce? How you feeling, man? Joshua has one option: rematch for the dollars, get beat quickly, then retire. In my opinion, he doesn't have it. Maybe never did. I agree with that entirely, except I think and I believe it's not a conspiracy. It's something that's already played out before. Because look at how the heavyweight division has been on house arrest. The heavyweight division has been on house arrest, man. They've been doing their own goddamn thing. It haven't really been too many other people to get the shine. And Andy Ruiz won for that moment, but he didn't get the shine. Alexander Usyk has won, but guess what? He ain't been able to celebrate and get the shine as defending his titles past Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is still in the picture. Why? Because Eddie Hearns loves rematches. So the whole plan is to put a rematch in there, man. Salute, brother Drew Titan. Cooking with Sir Senior on deck. What's good with you? But my people, it's been a pleasure, man, talking about this little kid, Joshua. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure. Appreciate everyone for pulling up. Believe it or not, I got to finish watching the brackets on WNO Championship Grappling Tournament. But I truly appreciate those who support the channel each and every day. Appreciate the big dog, Drew Titan pulling up, Cooking with Sir Senior, Bruce Goals in the building, D Hodges, Battle Ready Fitness and Defense. E-Man, appreciate everyone for pulling up and for the live broadcast today. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports.